Welcome to Room 13.
Emily huddled under the flickering neon of a dive bar in the city's industrial wasteland, the clock on her phone glowing 1:37 a.m., the air a reek of damp asphalt and motor oil, the night heavy with the threat of rain. Her friends had abandoned her hours ago, their laughter fading as they crammed into a cab, leaving Emily behind to nurse a flat soda and doom scroll on her phone, now at 7% battery. The bar's closing had spat her onto the deserted street, where shadows clung to rusted streetlights like ghosts. No buses ran this late, and the nearest stop was a mile through unlit alleys. She opened the Uber app, fingers numb from the chill, her breath visible in the cold. The app lagged, her signal barely holding. One driver nearby, Mark T. His profile was a red flag, a single star, the lowest rating she'd ever seen. Reviews screamed warnings. Creepy as hell, took sketchy back roads, stared too much, felt unsafe. One, dated days ago, read, "Don't book him, trust me." Emily's thumb froze over the screen. The next driver was 25 minutes out, and her phone was dying. The app's algorithm, cold and indifferent, offered no alternatives. In this urban void, she was a data point, not a person. She tapped Request Ride, her stomach twisting. A battered black sedan rolled up, its dented fender and cracked windshield glinting under the bar's sign. Emily hesitated, the door handle icy against her palm. A lone smoker by the curb, his face half-lit, gave her a wary glance before shuffling away. The street was a tomb, silent but for a distant dog's frantic bark. She slid into the back seat, the air thick with stale cigarette smoke and a metallic tang that pricked her nerves. Mark didn't turn. Gaunt, mid-40s, his hollow cheeks and unblinking eyes were fixed on the road. His knuckles, pale as bone, gripped the wheel like a lifeline. The silence was a physical weight, pressing against her chest. "Hey," Emily said, her voice brittle, "to my place on Pine Street." Mark nodded, a faint jerk of his head, and pulled away without a word. Her phone's GPS flickered, the map spinning uselessly. Mark's phone, mounted on the dash, showed a blank screen, no route, no destination. The app had betrayed her, pairing her with this stranger in a city that didn't care. "You know Pine Street, right?" she asked, clutching her phone, its battery now at 5%. He grunted, his eyes flicking to the rearview mirror, their cold intensity pinning her in place. The brief contact sent a shiver down her spine, like a predator sizing up prey. The car veered onto a narrow side street, the main road's glow fading behind them. Warehouses loomed, their boarded windows like blind eyes. Streetlights were scarce, casting jagged shadows that danced across the pavement. Emily's pulse quickened. "This isn't the way," she snapped, panic sharpening her tone. "It's faster," Mark rasped, his voice low and guttural, slicing through the silence. He turned up the radio, a crackling news report. Woman reported missing in the industrial district, last seen late Tuesday. Emily's breath hitched. The door was locked. In the footwell, half hidden under a stained rag, something glinted, metal, sharp, purposeful. A knife? Her mind spiraled, flashing to headlines she'd ignored, to the app's blind trust in proximity over safety. She was trapped in a digital cage, her life reduced to a 5-minute ETA. Desperate to break the spell, she blurted, "Why's your rating so bad?" Mark's shoulders stiffened, his grip tightening until the wheel creaked. "People lie," he said, venom seeping into his words. "They don't see I'm keeping them safe." His eyes locked on hers in the mirror, unblinking, a void that swallowed light. Emily's heart hammered. The app had no morality, no instinct. It saw only availability, not malice. She was alone, betrayed by the tech she'd relied on to survive the city's indifference. The car slowed at a stop sign, the street eerily still. Mark's hand drifted toward the glove box, fingers brushing the latch. Emily's thoughts raced. Every podcast, every article about self-defense screamed at her to act. "My roommate's tracking me." She lied, voice trembling but loud. "Claire's waiting, and she'll call the cops if I'm late." Mark froze, his eyes narrowing in the mirror, studying her. A distant siren wailed, faint but growing. Emily seized the moment. She slammed her fist against the window, screaming, "Let me out! Someone help!" Mark flinched, his hand jerking away from the glove box. She yanked the door handle, unlocked, maybe a glitch, and tumbled onto the pavement, knees scraping asphalt. She sprinted, shoes slapping wet pavement, and dove into an alley. Crouching behind a dumpster, she gagged on the stench of rot, her breath ragged. The sedan's headlights swept past, engine roaring like a beast, then faded. Emily stayed frozen, the city's silence swallowing her fear. She walked hours to her apartment, flinching at every shadow, the urban sprawl a labyrinth of indifference. Claire, bleary-eyed, let her in, horrified as Emily recounted the night. They reported Mark to Uber, but his profile had vanished, a digital ghost. The app's ride history was blank, as if the trip never happened. Emily felt unmoored, her trust in tech shattered. The algorithm hadn't just failed her, it had endangered her, prioritizing efficiency over humanity. Days later, a news alert. Another woman missing, last seen entering a black sedan. Emily swore off rideshares, haunted by the app's cold mechanics, its blind faith in strangers. She fled the city for a small town, craving escape from urban isolation. But the nightmares followed. Mark's eyes in the mirror, the 1-star rating a mocking omen. Months later, Emily ordered a pizza, too exhausted to cook. The delivery app glitched, assigning a driver. Mark T, no photo, 1 star. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "On my way. Stay safe." Outside, a black sedan oidled, its dented fender unmistakable. The app's map showed the driver's icon circling her house, tightening like a noose. A new notification flashed. "Mark T has accepted your ride." She hadn't requested one. The headlights flared, the engine revved, and her phone vibrated again, the screen frozen on the app's logo, a digital trap that had learned her name.